Okay, hello, just getting set up here. 1 second. Come on. I've been upgraded. Okay, no, there we are. There we go. No, that's right. Stream manager. Okay, cool. All right, thank you. We were just getting set up on my tablet beside me there. But yeah, welcome back. We are going to be playing through the last release chapter of Andromeda 6, which is the 6th chapter of the game, of 10, I believe. And yeah, it's the currently most released chapter, and there's been a little bit of updates since last I played, so I'm excited to do that. So I know there's a little bit of additional content. But yeah, I think we should just jump right back into the game. Just gonna get set up here. Comfy. Okay. So yeah, last we left off, we heard a gunshot, and it was not us who was shot. It was our reunited friend Vex, who we just kind of made amends with, and also learned that he killed her sister. It was a lot. A lot happened last time. June hulked out. We chose to go on the non-romance path, so we will not be kissing anyone. But yeah, here we go. Episode 6. Restart required. Oh, I thought I heard something. I think it's a plane above me. Okay. Vex falls backwards right as June launches himself forward, just in time to catch him before he hits the ground. I rush forward to help him, reaching Vex's side at the same time as Riona, her face grim as she kneels beside me. My eyes are fixed on her, watching as she puts pressure on Vex's wound, his blood staining the sleeves of her dress. She feels around the room with her long fingers, and Vex winces with the pain. He's losing a lot of blood. We need to get him to... A second gunshot has us all ducking our heads, and I look over to see Bast and June searching for the source, their guns raised. I'm well aware that where we are is too exposed, too close to danger. We need to get Vex onto the ship before whoever fired that shot decides to stick another bullet in him. I chance a look toward the forest and see movement behind the trees, figures creeping through the undergrowth. Only their silhouettes are visible, their features hidden by the setting sun behind them. I can't tell from here if the new arrival is a friend or foe, but the shiver that goes through me as they approach gives me the only answer I need. I thought we were safe. I thought we made it out of the facility unharmed. Now I know how wrong I was. Put your weapons down or I'll finish the job right this second. A voice echoes through the clearing as a group of chimera soldiers appear from the tree line, advancing on us with speed. I mean, they're kind of hot. Even though you just hurt our friend. The leader steps up, their rifle pointed at Vex as they bark an order at their soldiers. Get them on their knees and search the ship. I watch as they step closer, their icy expression sending a chill down my spine. Their eyes focus on Vex, the color so pale they can't be natural. I shudder as the pupils widen and contract mechanically. Oh, it's cool. Assessing the man at their feet. Oh well, looks like I caught a rat. Vex curses quietly between gasping breaths, wincing in pain. His hand still covers the bullet wound, though I want to move closer to make sure he's alright. I'm too afraid to move. Nice to you too, Ren. Did you really have to shoot me? Ren scoffs at him, and once her soldiers are circling us completely, they lower their weapon. You were supposed to kill the Andromeda 6 quietly, not blow a chunk out of Orion. Was that what I was supposed to do? You know, I think the doctor scrambled my brain a little much. You'd think I'd remember orders like that. Without warning, Ren swivels her rifle and smashes the butt of it down on Vex's face with a sickening crack. Fuck. Vex swears out loud as a hand flies to his nose, stemming a fresh flow of blood. Bitch. You just got shot and you'll be running your mouth? What are you doing? Leave him alone. Get away from him. The words burst from my mouth before I can stop them. Listen, Suarez makes bad decisions. And that's okay. It's okay to make bad decisions in visual novels. My eyes narrowed into furious slits as I stare down the chimera leader. Shut them up. I feel the unfamiliar bite of a rifle barrel at the back of my neck, and immediately I clamp my mouth shut. Ren barely spares me a glance, their nose turned up in disgust as they watch Vex square his shoulders against them. Footsteps echo on the ramp to the ship, and Calderon and Ayame appear, their hands held above their heads as they're escorted by Chimeri soldiers. The soldiers push them down on their knees beside us, and I scan them quickly, finding them unharmed. Ren doesn't acknowledge our presence, still busy with Vex. I always knew you were weak, but Jez insisted you would get the job done. I take no pleasure in being right. That's a surprise, isn't it? Careful, Seraph. My trigger fingers is itching to put you down. So do it. What are you waiting for? My breath hitches in my throat at the taunt. When will Vex learn to just keep his mouth shut? He will never. He will never learn. When will he learn that your actions have consequences? If Vex shoots him again, he's done for. All in good time. First, I think I'll deal with your new friends. In Andromeda 6 crew. Oh yes, I know all about you. Ren walks the line in front of us, each member of the crew on their knees, glaring up at them spitefully. Their boots are muffled by soft grass. Any small sound they make halted when they come to stop in front of June. Subject JXV. Thought you were dead. Oh, his name is June. No, but you will be if you lay a finger on any of my friends. Ren smirks, amused by the threat. Glad to see you, Saul. I'm fighting you. God, what if they try and repurpose him? Like, if they try and scramble his brains? That'd be so sad. They carry on, the soft thud of their footsteps fraying my nerves with every step they take. What if we get our brains scrambled? Yo, what if, like, in the future chapter... Okay, now that we're nearing the end of what's been released, I get to theorize now. What if we get captured by Zovak and he tries to, like, erase all memory and, like, turn us against our friends? Oh my god, that'd be crazy. Can't say I've seen your record. They stop in front of me, pale blonde hair falling in front of their faces, their bionic eyes shift and rotate unnaturally. I'm nobody. Picked up a new memory? I'm absolutely nobody. I'm definitely not the Lost Royal that Zoak desperately wants to kill. Picked up a new member for your merry band of misfits, have you, Commander? Ren faces Calderon, the corner of their lips tilting into a cruel smile. We need a navigator, so we found one. Now leave him alone. I could see in an instant that this was the wrong thing to say. Ren quirks an eyebrow at the captain before they take the rifle from their back and point it at me. Or what? I swallow around the lump in my throat, my palms sweating as I stare down the barrel in front of my nose. Damn it, Carol, take me. I'm the one you've been looking for. Let the rest of them go. So noble. They smile, but there's nothing warm about the gesture. Thankfully, they lower their weapon, and I breathe out a lungful of air in relief. But if you think I'm letting a single one of you go free, you're mistaken. Jez has plans for your crew. Now, I'm sure he won't mind if we lose one or two before we get to Goldus. Okay, so he wants us in Goldus, for some reason. As for your fate, a public execution would serve best for you, Commander Lynch. You did murder the former head of the Crown Council, after all. No, he didn't! That's a lie, and you know it! Ren cocks her head at Aya, studying her with the same manner as a hawk sizing up its prey. The pilot who broke Lynch out of prison here out of prison, is that it? That's right. She tilts her chin in the air, determined to not let her anger get the best of her. Still just nobody. Aya's face falls with the remark, and I want to tell her that's not true. Ren continues on, their shoulders sinking with a soft sigh as their gaze falls on Damon. Reznor, not surprised to see you switch sides. Damon grins at them, seemingly completely unfazed by the situation. I can't tell if it's all just an act or if he truly isn't bothered by the danger we're in. I think he could take them. If I had to bet, I'd say it's a little bit of both. I never picked a side to begin with. You know me, Ren. Still a coward, I see. But handy in a cinch, am I right? I don't miss the eye roll Ren gives him as they step back and glance over us all one last time. With Ren distracted by others, I steal a glance at Vex, who looks like he's barely holding on. I catch Damon's eyes, he glances towards Vex, seeing a shadow cross over his face. And now I see he knows exactly how much trouble we're in. So the question remains, who do I kill first? Ren commands our attention, our eyes glued to them as they make a show of thinking it over. When they step up to Riona, I find it hard to believe it's pure coincidence. There's something on their face that gives it away. The kind of satisfaction one has at catching a prize fish in their net. Looks like it's my lucky day. The last Archangel, Riona Mihayden. We're winging these pronunciation guys. Something drops in the pit of my stomach, a feeling of dread combing over me. Your dear old dad has been nothing but a thorn in our side since we liberated the system. I wonder what he'll give to get his little girl back in one piece. Riona glares at them, her hands still covered in Vex's blood as they hang untrembling at her sides. You sweet thing could be the king. You, sweet thing, could be the key to everything. I haven't seen my home in years. You really think I'd be any use to you? There's only one way to find out, isn't there? We'll start with a finger. Send it home to dear Daddy. Then we'll see if he prefers to be reunited with his darling daughter, one piece or several. The entire crew is seething, pinned down in place by a dozen rifles to keep us from doing anything to help Fiona. Tears spring at the corner of my eyes, my frustration slipping out of me and streaming down my face. Ren waves a hand at one of the soldiers. You there, give me your knife and keep her still. This'll only take a second. Don't touch her! In an instant, Bash is on his feet, though he barely makes it 3 feet before Riona stops him in his tracks with a shake of her head. What are you going to do about it? I'll rip you apart. Oh, and his eyes got all red. Listen, he's in love with her. I really hope we get to get them together. I love them. I see you've had some upgrades since we last met. Ilahaj? That sounds right. Too bad. I don't think there'll be enough to get you out of this one. You ready to find out? Ren swings her rifle towards Bash right before he grabs the barrel and sends it sprawling across the grass. Yes! Yes, that's my man! A dozen chimera weapons find their aim on him, and Bash grits his teeth, refusing to back down. You just had to try and be the hero, didn't you? Should join us when you had the chance. Never. Drawing the sword from its sheath on their back, Ren points the tip towards Bash. Hold him still. 2 soldiers rush forward and train their rifles on either side of him, forcing him back to his knees. When Ren lowers the sword to Bash's neck, he grits his teeth and growls up at them. You're not a liberator. You're nothing but a murderer. Ren presses their sword against his skin hard enough to draw blood, and I watch in horror as ruby droplets drip over the edge of the blade. And you're about to die. I hope it was worth it. She is. Oh, for real. It's so good. It's so good. I love him for that. Right when I think it's over, that we've lost Bash to the enemy, the trees surrounding us begin to whip and sway beneath the gusts of a dozen descending ships. Ren lowers her sword, leaving Bash forgotten on his knees as they scoop up their rifle and order the soldiers to form a new line of defense. The soldiers descend from the ships to land on the forest floor, and for a moment I think they're chimera reinforcements until I recognize the sigil they wear in their armor. Azure Dawn. Looks like we showed up just in the nick of time. Hi, Zane. Ugh, not you again. Happy to see me? Come on, you can admit it. I'll be happy to put a bullet in you, maybe 2. Looks like there's been enough of that going on around here. Zane shoots a look in Vex's direction before turning to the rest of us. Get out of here. We'll deal with these clowns. That's a great CG, by the way. I love it. It's so good. Also, their design is very, very cool and funky. Ren scoffs and aims their rifle at Zane's head, only to be met by a barrel of his own. They're not going anywhere. Zane barks out a laugh, and I can't quite decide if he has a death wish or if he's simply half mad. My enormous shotgun begs to differ. And make no mistakes, I'm talking about the one in my hand, so let's not go getting any crazy ideas. You don't want to see her when she gets mad. I hear Damon mumbling, "Oh, for fuck's sake," in the background, and I would laugh if we heard a second away from being shot to hell. Zane gazes at his weapons with an almost loving expression. I named her Alyssa after a friend of mine. She's twice as pretty and just as lethal as the real thing. While Zane keeps Ren and their soldiers locked in a standoff, the rest of us get ready to make a move. I hurry over to Vex, my heart lurching in my chest when I see up close how bad things have gotten. His face is pale, his eyes so heavy-lidded, he looks to be on the verge of passing out. Grab his other side, Solaris. Let's get him to the ship. The first shock goes off right as we reach the ramp to the docks, and we pick up speed to get on the safety of the ship. June, I need you on guns to cover our escape. Calderon barks orders while he hits a button to pull up the ramp and secure the ship. Bash, where are you? There you are. I need you assisting on weapons. June and Bash dash off together while I do my best to help Damon get Vex to the stairs. You 3 takes Vex to the infirmary. Aya, you're with me. We split up, Damon, Rion, and I hauling Vex to the infirmary while the others head towards the bridge. The metal walls of the ship muffled the sounds from the outside, but as we pass through the window, I see the fight is in full force. Azure Dawn class against Chimera, giving us an opportunity we need to make our escape. I wasn't sure what to think of Zane when we first met, but now I couldn't be more grateful for his presence. I can only hope he makes it out of there in one piece. By the time we make it to the infirmary, Vex is slipping in and out of consciousness, his body becoming dead weight in our arms. Vex, can you hear me? Try to stay awake. We struggled across the room as the ship lurches and rumbles, hastily taking off from the surface of the planet. Eventually, the three of us managed to haul Vex up onto the medical chair right as he passed out completely. Shit. Riona swears beneath her breath, and I raise an eyebrow at her. If the situation has Talari cursing, then things must be bad. Vex be alright? Is he gonna be okay? I need to check him over before I can say for sure, but I'll do my best to help him through this. Damon, will you fetch some bandages and antiseptic from the cupboard there? We'll need it to clean the wound. Damon does as asked, but when he returns with the items, his face is hard and expression pissed, a far cry from the mask he wore earlier. Ren wanted you, Rhi. Bad. I could see it on their face. Rihanna scoffs at him, looking far from thrilled at the top of the conversation. That's what happens when you have a family in politics, but we've hardly got time to worry about that now. Girl, same. No, I think it's exactly what we need to be worried about. Rihanna stops and pins Damon with a firm look, but I don't miss the edge of softness she gives him. I'm fine. I'm not the one bleeding out in the chair right now. So can we focus, please? The ship rumbles beneath us, and I grab onto the chair for support as it lurches to the side. The guns. We're being followed, and by the sound of things, shot at. The worry must show on my face because Rihanna gives me a soft smile. Don't worry, Solaris. June knows what he's doing. He'll keep us safe. And I'll bet Aya's having the time of her life. As long as Cal leaves her to the controls, we'll be out of here in no time. Rihanna grabs a tray with various tools while instructing us to remove Vex's jacket. Taking a side each, Damon and I carefully pull the garment off his shoulders and down his arms before Rihanna moves in to push up the shirt and expose the wound. I watch as she cleans the blood away to expose the bullet hole beneath. The injury doesn't look as bad as I expected, but it makes me wince nonetheless. Using her medical wand, she sweeps it over the area, reading the Talari symbols that appear on the side of the device. The good news is the bullet went straight through him, so the wound is clean. There's no major damage to the internal organs, but he's lost a lot of blood. I'll need a transfusion to keep him going. The worry must show on my face because Riona takes a moment to give me a comforting smile. I'll be okay, Solaris. I'll have him fixed up in no time. Taking a small sample of Vex's blood, she turns to a small machine on the counter and runs the vial of crimson liquid through it. The device processes the sample, lights blinking from red to green as it displays the findings on the screen. Riona frowns as she analyzes the data. What's wrong? There's only one other person on the ship who's compatible. God, I wish it was me. Who? Calderon. Fuck. Oof. But Vex is half Catalfin. How's that work? It's because he's half Catalfin and human he can receive blood from other species with compatible blood type. But we'll need to start the transfusion now or he won't last much longer. We don't have any synthetic. We haven't had a chance to replenish our stocks into Goldus. Reno grabs a small device off the wall and holds down a button before speaking. Captain, I need you in the infirmary. We've got an emergency on our hands. I'm a little busy right now, Doc. Holy shit, did you see that? IMA, you're about to give me a heart attack, for fuck's sake. I don't think it's going well up there. There's a crash and some swearing before the line goes dead. Riona lets out a heavy breath before she turns to me. Solaris, will you fetch him for me? On my way. Alright, I'm going. But if I don't make it back alive, you'll only have yourselves to blame. I'm sure I can live with that. You bastard. Stop that. Riona swats at his shoulder with a hand, which only makes him chuckle out loud. The captain is more bark than bite. Don't let him intimidate you. Yes, ma'am. And don't call me ma'am. With a gulp, I hurry out of the infirmary before Riona has a chance to inflict any real damage. When I reach the bridge, I'm met with the sound of voices, one of which sounds unfamiliar to me until I realize I know exactly who it is. I'm sure you'll find a way to repay us one day, Blondie. We did save your asses after all. If I remember correctly, Zane was the one who showed up. I didn't see you saving anything. Who do you think gives the orders? You're not the only one wearing the big boots around here. Let's cool our jets, shall we? Aimee slides in between Cal and Alyssa's hologram, her arms raised in surrender. I think we're all more than grateful that you saved our butts back there, Alyssa, the captain included. How's the situation back on Cursa? I'm not on Cursa, which brings me to the actual point of this call. You mean to tell me this isn't a social call? Oh, look at you! You made a joke! Cal sneers at her. It's clear that these two really are fond of each other. After you left, we managed to push the Chimera back and secure our district. It wasn't long before we were contacted by someone I can safely say I never expected to receive a call from. Who was it? Eldred Mihadan, head of the Council of Eons on Talaran. Fiona's father? I knew he was on the council, but the head is supposed to be the Blake Queen's mother. Yeah. It seems like there's been a shift of power in recent years. What does he want? You. Well, your stowaway, most of all. He requests your presence here on Talarn. You're on Talarn too? What does Eldrin want with us? Questions. Learn to go with the flow for once, wouldn't you, Blondie? Just tell me what... A loud beep interrupts the captain, followed by a bewildered looking Arknos appearing next to Alyssa. Hi. Oh, hello, ambulance crew. Oppo? Oppo, if I have to tell you one more time to stop listening in on my calls, then someone is losing a tail. Again. Oppo is so sorry. Oppo was trying to call home to make sure their bar is still in one. I already told you it's in good hands. One day, I swear I'm gonna... Just get your asses to Talarn. We'll be waiting. There's another beep, and the holograms disappear. Both Alyssa and Oppo on Talarn. God, I wonder who else is there. Also, just because I wanted to be known, I called the twist that happens near the end of this chapter. I called this shit back in, like, I don't know, chapter, like, 3. I knew it in my heart. Calderon. It appears, back to the game. It appears so. Something weird is going on. I can feel it in my gills. Deciding I should probably make my presence known, I step onto the bridge and let my footsteps echo over the metal floor. Both Calderon and Aya turn at once, their gaze fixed on me. How long have you been standing there? The whole time. Like, pretty much the whole time? Calderon sighs, but his face softens somewhat. At least you're honest. So, Alyssa didn't look too happy. I'm starting to think that's her default setting. Like another person I know around here. She's happy we got the bomb set up at the least. The factory blew to hell is beyond repair. Thank God. Which means an end to their creepy little experiments. And Zane? He's okay. The Dawn managed to fight off the Chimeri soon after we took off and had them running with their tails between their legs. They're in the process of picking up the freed prisoners and moving them to Talarn. Talarn? I don't understand. They don't allow outsiders on the planet. Seems like things are changing everywhere. I nod in silent agreement, thinking back to everything we've accomplished today on everything we've been through. Who was that back on Orion? Ren? Zobek's right hand, the one that goes out and executes all his dirty work. A lump settles in my throat, and I swallow around it as I ask my next question. You think they were there that night? The night my family was killed? Yes, I say that they were. I'm sorry, Solaris. Silence stretches between us before Calderon sighs and rubs the back of his neck with his hand. How's the redhead doing? A little breath, thankful to change the subject, but also dreading what's coming next. Well, that's why I'm here. He needs a blood transfusion, and there's only one person on the ship who matches his blood type. No, you're not sticking a needle in me, no way! Aya backs away with her arms held in front of her, and I would chuckle at her reaction if I didn't have to deliver the next line instead. Actually, it's Calderon. What? No way in hell am I giving my blood to that traitor. Please. And if you're romancing him, you can be like, do it for me. I can't have his death on my conscience, and I suspect neither can you. Please, I'm asking you to do this. And if he tries to hurt one of our crew, if he tries to hurt you, what then? He won't. We're heading to Talarn. Maybe someone will know how to help him. I give Aya a grateful smile, one that she returns much to Calderon's annoyance. He takes in a deep breath, and I know he's given in when his shoulders sink and pinches the bridge of his nose between his fingers. Fine, I'm going. Aya, you know the plan. Get us where we need to go. Yes, Captain. Calderon disappears from the bridge, and I turn to Aya right as she rounds the pilot seat and slips into it. Now that he's taken care of, let's get down to business. Look alive, Navigator. You're with me. How can I help? I need you to chart a course to the nearest space station. We won't make it to Talarn without refueling first. Are we still being followed? The Chimera ships fell back before we hit the edge of Orion's atmosphere. Their crafts are speedy, but they're small, hardly built for interplanetary chase. I take a seat at the navigation station and pull up the screen, using what I've been learning to bring up information on the space station between us and Talarn. It says the closest station is called Chrono. Aya swears beneath her breath, and I see this information as less than welcome. Is there anything else? I swipe across the screen, filtering through the names and distance of various way stations. There's another called the Uba Terminal, but then we'd be going out of our way to reach it. We can't go there, not unless we want to get cuffed on arrival. She takes a few seconds to think her options through, her fingers twirling through the ends of her hair. The people who run Chrono are shifty and they charge too much for, well, everything. We'll be able to get in and get out without a hitch as long as we keep our heads down. Set a direct course and we'll get this baby some much needed TLC. Yes, ma'am. I tap a few controls on the screen, fumbling only once before the course is set and the information is beamed across the pilot's hub. I can't believe we're going to Tularan. I've always wanted to see it. Fiona's told me so much about it. It sounds amazing. I just wish that. She trails off, a sad, wistful expression coming over her. What do you wish? She sighs before turning back to the controls. I can't see her face, but I'd never mistake the pain I hear in her voice. Nothing. Aya shakes her head, and when she looks at me again, her smile's returned, though there's something about it that doesn't seem quite right. You should get some rest. It's been a long day. I'll let you know when we're getting close to Chrono. Are you sure you don't want me to stay a bit? Keep you company? She shakes her head, and this time when she smiles, I believe it's the real deal. I'll be okay. I gotta keep my eyes peeled for any chimera ships, so no distractions. Alright, if you insist. I turn to go, but before I reach the door, Aya calls out to me again. Hey, Solaris? Yeah? You're doing a great job, Navigator. I smile at her warmly. Thanks, Aya. Oh, she's sweet. I'm reluctant to leave her. There's something about her demeanor that's telling me she's not okay, but for now at least, it seems she wants to be left alone. Heading out to the corridor, I let myself drift away with my thoughts as I make my way to my room. So much has happened over the past 24 hours, I can hardly believe I have a moment to breathe at all. I'm beginning to realize that the world is a dangerous place, much more so than I have ever imagined, and I'm still learning the rules of the game. Footsteps ahead drag me from my thoughts, and I look up to see a familiar face heading toward me. June. He stops in front of me, his shoulders tight with hesitation as his mouth softly parts. Solaris, I've been looking for you. Oh? I just wanted to say, I'm so sorry you had to see all that back at the facility. It's not something I ever wanted you to witness. You know what? They're diplomatic. Solaris is diplomatic. It's reasonable. You don't have to apologize to me, June. I can only imagine how it felt for you to be back in that place. I can't say I would have acted any differently. June shifts from side to side, clearing his throat before he speaks softly. You're not afraid of me? No, I'm not afraid of you, but all those people in the facility, the experiments, you destroyed them so easily, like they were nothing. He drops his head, and I can see he feels my horror in some deep, hollow place inside him. I'm not sorry for ending their lives. You have to understand, Solaris. If I had let them live, they would have killed hundreds, thousands perhaps. But the bombs would have killed them. You could have left them to the explosions. Wouldn't that have been better than killing them with your own hands? I can see by the expression on his face that he's already thought this through, already grappled with the weight of his actions. It's likely they would have survived the explosions, and I couldn't take the risk. Their bodies were infused with ryanite, same as mine, but they're not like me, Solaris. How do you know that? They might have been suffering, just like you. They were suffering. I have no doubt about that, but that's where the similarities end. June takes in a deep breath to calm himself. I can see he knows much more about the situation than I do, and I trust his judgment. My transformation began before I was born, and there was no one else who took to the substance like I did, not even my brother. The doctors, my parents, tried to recreate it over and over and failed every time. I don't even know why I was the only one who survived it, and trust me when I say I've tried to find the answer. Those things in the facility used to be chimera soldiers, but from the moment they were poisoned with ryanite, they became something else, something more dangerous than any of us. The worst part is they chose to do it, convinced that they would become sort of superhero, maybe. He lets out a small scoff and shakes his head, as though perplexed by anyone who would willingly put themselves through that. I suppose I'm wondering the same thing. Before I joined the crew, I was lost. I tried to find others like me, convinced there was someone else out there who was moving on, who was living a life of their own, that maybe I had a chance. But there was no one, not a single soul. Every single subject that had been infused with ryanite past birth was dead. The older they were when the procedure was done, the more twisted they became, and the quicker it killed them. Killing those soldiers on Orion makes me a monster. I know that much, but I do it again. It was me back there in their place. June falters, his emotion is getting the better of him. I wish someone would kill me too. Oh. You know what, you were protecting us, and he's doing it for the good of both them and the world. It's okay. Solaris just said, I'm sorry you had to go through all that. It sounds to me like you've protected the people of the system from a threat they didn't even know existed. If they did know, I bet they'd be grateful. I know I am. June's eyes widen on me. I don't think he expected this kind of reaction, but he seems grateful for all the same. Thank you for your kindness, Solaris. I can't say I deserve it, but destroying that place lifted a weight on me. Knowing that those experiments will never be replicated, that Zovac will never unleash these monsters on the world, it feels good. Really good. His eyes drift away from me, his voice going quiet when he speaks next. Nobody will ever have to go through that again. If that's the last thing I ever knew in this world, it was worth it. I believe we'll go on to do much more, June. I'm glad this has brought you the peace you deserve. We share a smile, and it occurs to me how nice it is to see June relieving himself of his burdens. Sweet. His gaze shifts to the window and to the vast expanse of space beyond the glass. I finally feel I can look toward the future. I've been stuck in my nightmare of the past for far too long. It would be nice to focus on something else for once. I step up beside him, studying the void that stretches on and on between us and our next destination. I think of my own future. It does sound nice. I feel it when June looks towards me, feel the hesitation that hangs between us before he speaks again. June rubs at the back of his neck sheepishly. Anyway, I better head off and find the captain. One of the guns jammed when we were shooting at the Chimera. We need to fix it as soon as we can. We're heading to a space station called Chrono. Can it be fixed there? Yes, that'll be perfect. We'll have to look around for a couple of small parts, but Bash will see it done. And I think it'll be re-released in a later update, or during when they re-release the game in full and do things there. There will be kind of like a jealousy system, where if you flirt with one of the characters before choosing the romance, and then you don't romance them, or you romance another character, they can be like, damn, I thought we had something. And I think that was like the little moment there, that will probably be implemented. We say our goodbyes and we carry on down the corridor. I hear June speaking his communicator using the device to locate Calderon. At the thought of the captain, I wonder how the blood transfusion is going with Vex. If the look of thunder on his face when he left the bridge was any indication, Riona had her work cut out for her. I'm desperate for a rest, but I decide to check in on all of them all once more before I do. When I step into the infirmary for the second time this evening, the chaos from earlier has dissipated. The room is quiet, the lights dimmed. Riona's mister is quietly running in the background, the scent of lavender and verbena hanging in the air. I spy Damon, leaning back in Riona's chair with his boots resting on the desk in front of him. I shake my head, attempting to hold back a grin. Don't let Riona catch you like that. He snorts at my teasing and turns, letting the chair fall forward. He sits up straight, his feet thumping to the floor. Never. I can hear the click of her boots from a mile away, so unless someone decides to go and be a tattletale, I'd say I'm safe. Where is she anyway? I'm gonna go be a tattletale. Damon pushes himself to his feet, stepping toward me with a smirk dancing on his lips. Doc's taking a break. I know I'm not exactly a medical professional, but if you need a full body examination, in your dreams, buddy. I sure hope so. I clear my throat softly, determined to change the subject and remember why I actually came here. How did the blood transfusion go? Is Vex doing okay? Damon starts again, as though I've somehow said something mildly funny. It went well enough, considering Cal could barely sit still long enough to have his blood drawn. As soon as it was done, he tore out of here, muttering about Tularan among other things. Luckily, our Riona's a gem. She patched Carrot Head up better than he deserves, I'd say. He looks towards the bed, shaking his head in either amusement or disappointment. I can't tell. He's resting now. He'll be fine. I follow Damon's gaze and feel my shoulders sag with relief. I want to see him, but before I step towards the curtain, something makes me pause, and I turn to Damon once more. Calderon told you we were heading to Tularan? Yeah, it sounds like Lisa's up to something. My hopes perk up. If anyone knows why Alyssa might be on Tularan, it's Damon. Well, what do you think it is? Who knows? Outsiders have been welcome to Tularan for decades, so whatever it is, it's something big. Why else would they let a dope like Zane on the planet? I don't ask for any more. I know it's not his fault, but I'm disappointed to learn that Damon knows just as little as I do. I'm impatient to get to Tularan, to find out exactly what's going on, but I know that there's other things we have to take care of first. Before you do anything else, come over here. Damon instructs before he heads over to the overhead cupboards and starts pulling out some supplies. I follow him attentively, watching him set down a bottle of blue fluid and a wad of cotton balls. What are you doing? You've got a cut in your head. My hand flies to my forehead. I haven't realized it was there. It doesn't hurt at all. Don't touch it. It needs to be cleaned to prevent infection. I drop my hands, letting Damon step forward and press one of the moistened cotton balls to my head, dabbing it over the wounds. It's very cute. Listen, I'm a sucker for, tenderly, cleaning up wounds. It stings a little when it hits the cut, but I try and stay still while he works. I didn't know Riona was training an assistant. When you work in my profession, you need to know the basics. Damon turns back to find a small bandage, using it to cover up the cut. After smoothing down over my skin, he stands back and admires his work. All done? Take this too, for the bruises. He grabs a small tube from the counter and holds it towards me. I don't think I have. You will in the morning. Trust me. Taking the tube of ointment, I pocket it for later, giving a small smile. Thanks. Don't mention it. Heading over to Riona's desk, I pick up the small mirror, using to inspect the so-called gash. The bandages covered the wound completely, so it can't have been that bad. Oh. He just cares about you, Solaris. You're friends. In any case, I'm glad the demon thought to take care of it so it wouldn't get any worse. You want him in alone with him? Damon's voice bringing back to the current situation. I assume he's talking about Vex, and I look towards the bed instinctively. After his confession back on Orion, and the fact he was the one who shot Nerissa, it's difficult to come to terms with. I'll admit, I may have been putting this off longer than I should. Yeah, I'll talk to him. Yes, if you don't mind. Sure thing, just don't tell Cal I left you alone with him. I don't particularly want to be booted out of the airlock before we get to Solarn. Don't worry, I won't say a thing. He grins as he turns, his boots squeaking on the floor behind him. I'll be right outside. Try not to get any trouble. If he goes berserk again, just start yelling. I'll put him out of his misery. Get out of here. I waved Damon off with a shake of my head and half-concealed grin. I'd highly doubt he'd do anything to hurt a hair in his old friend's head. Hear the whoosh of a door as Damon exits behind me, and I step towards the bed where Vex is laying. Reaching out, I pull open the curtains, only met by a pair of heavy-lidded emerald eyes blinking at me slowly. Hey, Your Highness. Vex's voice is rasping when he speaks. He looks half asleep, like he's just woken up. It must have been our voices that woke him. Hey, how are you feeling? I'll live, but I gotta say, that bullet hurt like hell. Vex grunts as he pushes himself up a little, leaning against a couple pillows. Just don't tell Damon I said that. I rush forward to help him, fluffing up the pillow behind his back so he can sit up more comfortably. Be careful, don't move around so much. Yes, nurse. Very funny. He chuckles at the look I give him, wincing at the pain that strikes him straight after. It pains me to see him like this. I never wanted him to get hurt. Does it still hurt a lot? Yeah, a bit, yeah. Miro says it'll take a few days to heal completely. Apparently the med tech on the ship is pretty archaic. I'm grateful for what she's done for me nonetheless. As long as you're healing, that's all that matters. He gives me a small smile before his face suddenly drops, his shoulders sagging under some kind of weight. I don't know how he would stand to look at me after. He trails off, but I know what he's trying to say. We'll have to talk about this all sooner than or later. You know what? I'm just glad you're still here, bestie. All I care about is that you're here, that you're alive. I thought I was going to lose you. It felt... I'm not sure if it's just the memory that's affecting me, or actual tears until I feel the wetness sliding down my cheeks. It felt awful, like there's nothing I could do to save you. I know that feeling. Sadness cuts into him so deeply, I can see it taking form behind the hollows of his cheeks, the shadows beneath his eyes. Vex, I'm so sorry about your parents. I had no idea you were going through all that. We knew each other for so long, and I didn't know. How could you have known? I kept that part of me secret. I deceived you. A pinprick of anger needles at me, knowing he was lying to me all that time. Some part of me feels guilty for forgiving him so quickly, but a much bigger part feels like this is what we both need. I can only hope we can move on from this, as friends. But you weren't the only one who was deceived. Zovak assured me my parents were safe. I spent years of my life doing his bidding, convinced he would help me find them. Every time I wanted to go to Orion to save them, he always had some way to talk me out of it. I think a part of me knew they were gone, but I hoped so much I would find them there, that I could take them home. I should have gone to that prison years ago. I should have stolen the ship, found my own way there. How would you have gotten them out of there? We all saw how heavily that place was guarded. It would have been impossible. Vex pauses. Deep down, I think he knows I'm right, but right now he's turning too much to care. I would have found a way. He hangs his head low, and I see how the guilt and regret eats at him, devouring him alive. I can't stop thinking how this is my punishment, karma for everything I've done to others. You know what? I don't believe in karma. Terrible things happen to us. All of us. We can either choose to let it defeat us, or we can choose to keep going, to fight for something better. When did you get so wise? I give him a sheepish look, suddenly feeling a bit awkward. When I found a crew of misfits who seemed like they needed a little bit of wisdom. I know you've made mistakes. That doesn't mean you don't deserve a second chance. Solaris, he squeezes his eyes shut, his jaw tensed against some memory from the past, something that's tearing him apart. Vex? I watch him as he bares his teeth, gritting hard as he tries to pull himself back. You're still having trouble with the corruption in your mind? It comes and goes. I don't know how long I'll be able to hold it off before I'm not myself again. I don't want to hurt anyone else. I can't stay on this ship, Solaris. We're going to Solarn. Surely someone can help you there? Solarn? Alyssa's there, and Oppo too. I don't know what's going on, but it feels like something important. I'll do my best to hold out until we get there. And Vex winces again, his eyelids flickering as he fights to stay in control. I'll go and get Damon. You should get some rest. Wait, will you stay just a little longer? I feel better when you're here. More like myself. I look him down, and for a moment I don't see the man who has caused me so much anger and heartbreak, but the boy who just lost his parents and needed comfort. Sure, if that's what you want. I take a seat beside the bed, returning the smile that Vex gives me. Thank you, Solaris, for coming to see me. I didn't think you would. I'll always be your friend, Vex, no matter what happens. Same here, as long as my mind permits me, of course. Don't worry about that now. You should get some rest. I help him to lay down and get comfortable, but he doesn't try to sleep straight away. Instead, he looks over me, a strange smile playing on his lips. Hey, do you remember that time back in Goldus when we used to sneak out to that little drink pen on the outskirts? They make sodas out of anything you wanted. Soda one time, that was foul. I'll admit the cherry ones were amazing, though. I'd go for one of those right now. You know what? Which one the Solaris like? I don't think they're a pickle person. I'll do watermelon. I've always loved watermelon soda. Now that you brought it up, I wish I had one right now. We'll go back there one day. We can try every flavor they have. Except the gravy soda. I'm not touching that. Okay, deal. Or the one that tastes like peas. We laugh together, and for a moment it feels like old times back at the palace, lying in the gardens and laughing until our sides hurt. I miss those days, but maybe they don't have to be gone forever. We talk a while longer until I notice his eyes growing heavy and his head begins to nod. Alright, I think it's definitely time to get some rest. I help him lay down and get comfortable, and it doesn't take long for his breathing to grow deep as he slips into dreams. His body needs plenty of rest to recover. I watch him for a while, gazing at the faint freckles scattered over his nose, the way his eyelashes flutter in his dreams. He looks so peaceful, a memory from my past taking physical form right in front of me. When Riona returns a while later, I decide it's time for me to go and get some rest of my own. I step into my room with a sigh, relieved to have a moment where I can finally be on my own. Today is dreamy in more ways than one, and I feel if I don't get to bed soon, I'll collapse where I stand. It doesn't take long for me to change some comfortable clothes, slip into bed, and fall asleep. I wake a little while later, and while I can feel as though I've only just fallen asleep, by the aches and pains in my body, I can tell it's been a few hours at least. With a low groan, I sit up and stretch my arms above my head, attempting to stretch out my muscles. I feel stiff and sore all over. Immediately I see the demon is right when I find a bruise on my arm, then another on my shoulder, no doubt the after effects of having almost fallen to my death in a pit. I shudder to think what could have happened if I hadn't managed to get myself out of there. I glance at my hole pad to check the time while I rum some of the ointment the demon had given me over the bruises. It's too early to be awake, but my body feels rested and my mind won't let me sleep. Though it's the last thing I feel like doing, I think my body could benefit from a little bit of training to help warm it up and get it going again. Even some light stretching could do a world of wonder. And after that, a long hot shower. Before any of that, however, I'll need to do something about this grumbling stomach. After heading to the kitchen for some much-needed breakfast and about a gallon of water, I head to the docks and see if I can't get my body functioning on at least a normal level again. I haven't seen any of the crew awake, though that's hardly surprising given what time it is. That, and I think all of us needed a well-deserved night of rest. Heading down the stairs of the docks, the faint sound of grunts and groans drifts up to me, and just when I thought I was the only one up early. When I hit the bottom step, I spot Aya in the distance, a bunch of training pads scattered in the ground around her. She's dressed casually and has a couple of holographic targets set up to practice with, fighting two at a time. She's an impressive fighter. I'm sure if we were matched together in a field, she'd completely obliterate me. I watched as she expertly dodged a punch from one target, using her agility to get under its arms and take it down with ease. The other one attacks from behind, and for a moment it seems like Aya has lost the game. It only takes a second for the tide to turn. Aya reaches behind and grabs the target behind the head, ducking down and using her weight to propel it to the ground, where she finishes it with a final blow. With a triumphant bark of laughter, she stands and strains her back, shaking out her hands and breathing hard. Targets, now severely beaten, disappear and the program ends. That was awesome! Oh, she looks so good. Wait, we're just gonna stop and appreciate. Listen, I know I'm not on any of the routes, but I can't. What am I supposed to do? Not find these characters very attractive? She is so hot right now. We're just gonna go in this her arms. God, she's so pretty. IMA is my main route. I think she's the one that I'm doing. I will eventually do all of them, and I have them all. I literally have them all saved. If you want to look at my million saves that I have, but yeah, Aya's my main girl. At the sound of my voice, Aya turns abruptly, her eyes wide and fists raised in defense. It's only me. I'm pretty sure I'd stand half a second against you at most. Oh, I didn't hear you come in. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. That's alright. I was lost in my own head. I spot only for a second, but the same sadness that seemed to be haunting Aya last night passed over her face. In the blink of an eye, it's gone again, replaced by her usual easygoing smile. So, did you get some rest? Change the subject, though I want to talk to her more about what's bothering her. I don't want to push it. Yeah, I fell asleep pretty early. You're right, I definitely needed it. She smiled a little, though something about it seemed weak, like she's forcing herself to put on a brave face. How'd you sleep? Not well. She wrings her hands together, and I'm starting to suspect that it's a sign that she's troubled by something. I couldn't turn my mind off. I kept thinking about Orion, everything that happened there, everything that could have happened. She begins to pace. Oh, she looks so sad. She begins to pace, her lower lip trembling as she speaks. June was struggling. I couldn't do anything to help him. He's my friend. I should have done something. And then Bash and Riona, we could have lost them both. I step forward, trying not to spook her. I can see how fragile she is right now. If it makes you feel any better, I talked to June last night. He's doing good. I think he really needed that outburst to work through a few things. Really? That makes me feel a bit better, though it's hard to get past these feelings. She turns away from me, her shoulders slumped and her head bowed. Oh no, why are you doing this to me? A hand flies to her mouth, the sob escapes her and her face crumbles. What's wrong? I'm sorry, it's nothing really. She squeaks the words out shakily between small hiccuping sobs, rubbing her eyes to hide her tears. It's nothing. It doesn't seem like nothing. I don't think that's true, Aya. If you're this upset, there has to be a reason. I don't really want to talk about it. She brushes away the tears from the back of her hand, something quietly. You'll think it's stupid. My chest squeezes, she turns away again. She seems so small, so lost, and I'm not sure what to do to stop that. I won't think it's stupid, I promise. I try to assure her, hoping that having even one person to listen will make a change. After all Aya's done for me, all the support she's given me, it's the least I can do. She hesitates for a few moments. When she finally speaks, I know I'm finally getting her to open up. Many years ago, my parents sacrificed everything to keep me safe, and I'm grateful to them for the life I have, but I shouldn't even be here. My brother Akira was the one who wanted to join the Guard. He wanted to travel the system, the other systems too. She closed her eyes, her lashes fluttering as she pulls up memories of her past. All I wanted was for us to have a home, somewhere we could be safe. I joined the Guard after he died, but it didn't make things any better. The tears fall thick down her cheeks, and this time she doesn't stop them. We're going to Talaran, the one place he always wanted to see. Realization hits me, and now I know what Aya wished last night. She wished that Akira could be with her when she saw Talaran for the first time. That the two of them could experience a new planet together. You know what? You're honoring your brother's legacy. I think that in a way I don't think there's a right choice here. I think that in a way you're honoring your brother's legacy. He might not be here physically, but I'm sure he's still with you in other ways. I don't know if it's the same for you, but sometimes I swear I still hear Narissa speaking to me. I smile at her, hoping she won't take what I'm saying the wrong way. Akira would have wanted you to go to Talaran, right? Yes, but I don't know. It doesn't feel the same for me. It just feels like he's gone. I'm sorry, Solaris. I think I just need to be alone right now. I watch her. She hugs her arms around herself, making her seem smaller than she already is. I've already lost so much. Everyone that's ever mattered to me is gone. They're never coming back, and I just can't lose anyone else. I can't let that happen. Ooh. I think I know where Aya's story will be going next time. We'll talk about it after the big reveal. She curls the ends of her hair around her finger, her face steeped so deeply in sadness that hurts me to witness. Ren was right. I am a nobody. My friends are in danger. I can't do shit to help them. Don't say that, Aya. Ren doesn't know anything. You're just a bitch. It was you who saved Cal from the prison on Goldus. None of us would be here if it wasn't for you. You're the heart of this crew. She gives me a weak smile, but this time I know it's far from genuine. I wish I could believe you. With a sigh, she turns away from me, heading back over to the training mats and the device she uses for the holographic targets. Don't worry about me, Solaris. I'll get over it eventually. I try to say more, but I initiates the training device and launches straight into another program. I initially come down here to train, but I don't want to be a bother, especially when Aya's feeling so down. Heading back toward the stairs, I turn one last time before leaving. I is standing in the middle of the training mats, her head bowed and the training program around her forgotten. I want so much to go to her, to tell her that everything will be okay, but I feel as though she'll only end up shrugging me off again. I want to tell her that she doesn't have to be happy all the time, that it's okay to feel sad about things, that it doesn't make her any less worthy. Instead, I drag myself up the stairs, feeling helpless. It's not like Aya to shut me out like that, and I'm worried about what it can mean. With my training plans thoroughly tossed out the window, I head back to my room for that long shower I promised myself. Another day passes, and we make our way toward Chrono, finally docking on the space station and going over some ground rules for our visit. I learned that Corona was a wayward station run by ex-mercenaries. It's a seedy place, to say the least, but it also means a chance of us running into any Chimera or Slim. As long as we keep our heads down and blend in with the crowd, we'll be able to get out what we need and be on our way. Oh, look at our cute little room! I had managed to go onto the station, pick up some new clothes, and a few personal items, though the options were somewhat limited and expensive, as Aya warned me. Oh, Ash loves you. I love you too, baby. Still, I had found a couple things that were more my style, and now I'm starting to feel and look the part of a navigator on the ship. While the rest of the crew are still doing their own thing, I take some time to rest up in my room. My body is still a little worse for wear after encountering Orion, and I figure that taking it easy can't be a bad idea. As I'm lounging on my bed, playing a little game on my holopad, there's a knock on the door. The next day, I find myself thrown back to reality. Oh, that is where... Huh. Oh no, is this not... Oh. Because I thought that fixed the bug. Wait, I don't know if I'm... Okay. Well, I hope I'm playing the right version. I thought I was. Because I thought they fixed that, because then you would talk to Damon. It's okay. And there's supposed to be a bath scene. Uh-oh. 1 second. I swear I am playing the right version, because I hit 6.2. Huh. Okay. We'll see. Well, okay. Huh, I don't know if I'm playing the right version. I might have fucked up there. Sorry, guys. Great a time as any to say, hey, if you want to play Andromeda 6 for yourself and actually play the right version, it's on itch.io, and the new 6.2 version is available on there. I don't think... There's just a million. I need to clean up my folders. It's because there's a gajillion versions of the game that I have, because it keeps piling on top of each other because of the app, the itch.io app. So I will figure that out. But for now, we'll just play the rest of the chapter. It's not that big of a deal. I hope. I don't know. It's fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. The next day, I find myself thrown back to reality, and when reality comes calling, duty swiftly follows. After refueling the ship and departing from the Chrono, we set a course towards Talaran. The passage between the space station and Talaran gives us no trouble, and the Talari patrolling the outer sects of the planets leave its pass in peace. As we approach, I feel this sense of anticipation building within me. We're almost there. Everyone get to the bridge and buckle up. We're heading into orbit. I hear the excitement on Aya's voice, and I chuckle to myself. I can't blame her for the enthusiasm. Unlike our visits to Curse and Orion, when tension dripped from us thick as honey, this feels different somehow. There's still a lot of questions to be answered, but the one thing we know is that if our friends are already here, it's likely we're not about to launch ourselves headfirst into trouble. Following Aya's instructions, I head to the bridge and take my seat at the navigation station, peering out the front window towards the mass of green and blue in front of us. The planet is beautiful. From this distance, it doesn't look that different from Orion, but the landscape seems deeper and richer. And then there are the rings that surround the planet. You know I love a planet with rings. Yeah. And you can see them from the ground. Oh, it's so cool. I really love sci-fi stuff. As we approach, I get a clear look at them, picking out the individual rocks and debris that encircle Talaran. They almost look like a shield, some kind of cosmic protection to ward off would-be intruders. After all this time, I didn't think I'd be so happy to see home. A soft voice distracts me, and I turn to find Riona standing nearby, her piercing yellow eyes drinking in the sight of her home planet. Hey, Riona, are you excited to be going back? It's very complicated. When I left, it wasn't on the best terms. I don't expect this will be very pleasant for me. I understand. I was often at odds with my family, too. It tends to make things awkward, to say the least. Riona slaps a hand to her mouth abruptly, her eyes widening and shining with guilt. I'm so sorry, Solaris. I have no right to complain about these things to you, not when you've lost so much. It's fine. Your concerns are no less valid. I can only imagine how hard this must be for you. Thank you for understanding, Solaris. Alyssa called. She says to land somewhere in the Easteel Spire. Yeah, I'm so good at pronouncing things. The stomp of Damon's boots interrupts us as he enters the bridge and puts himself between us, wherever that is. The Easteel Spire is on the main hub of the planet. Our friends should be all there as well as... She trails off, a strange look coming over her. Riona, will you show us where to go? Show us where to go. Oh, yeah, Dad's gonna be there. Riona nods quietly and takes the co-pilot seat while Kadarin and Damon strap themselves into the seats at the back with the rest of us. I sit back and admire the view as Ayame guides us towards Talaran. It's difficult not to be intrigued by the planet when so few outside the Talaria species have visited it. Though I'm nervous to find out what awaits us, there's something else that buzzes along my skin at the prospect, a kind of anticipation. Watch out for the rings. I'm not blind, and they're like impossible to hit. At least when you're good as I am. Yeah, well, whatever. I can't see from back here. Yeah, okay. So shut up and enjoy the ride. Ayame whoops out loud as she launches the ship forward, sending us rocketing towards the planet. As we approach, the landscape becomes clear, blobs of blue and green shifting into lakes, waterfalls, and sprawling fields. Down there to the east, that's the Ysil Spire. As we descend, Riona points to an enormous silver tower so tall that the top of it disappears into the clouds. A couple of the crew gasp at the sight, myself the loudest. It's huge. Yes, it houses the equivalent of a large city. Hospitals, schools, homes, anything you possibly need. This particular spire is also the home of the Council of Eons. I recall overhearing that the leader of the council is Riona's father, but I can't quite remember his name. Like Elden or something. Elden Ring. Before he came onto the role, it belonged to Aaliyah Aubrey, Queen Tajin's mother. She died a little over a year ago, though from what I heard, that wasn't common knowledge. And I know that Riona and her father don't get along, but there's a small piece of me that's excited to meet him. We're here. Everyone, prepare yourselves for landing. Ayame guides the ship towards the spire with no issues and sets us down smoothly on the landing pad. After landing, we unbuckle ourselves and get ready to leave the ship, excitement buzzing through the crew as we speculate on what we'll find here. We exit onto the landing pad to be greeted by a host of Talari who approach us warmly, welcoming us to their planet. I watch them in awe, noting how gracefully they hold themselves, how beautiful and fine their clothing is. So yeah, this is, you know what? This is giving like, you know when they go to like Lothlorien and Lord of the Rings? This is what this is giving right now. Or Rivendell, like somewhere very elven. Calderon takes the lead as we follow them, with Ayame and Damon close behind. Riona hangs back, and it's only now I notice more than a few of our Talaran escorts throwing her subtle but curious looks. I don't think they like Dolphins, right? They have like beef, right? Because they refused to help them when their planet exploded. When we reach the large doors of the building, we find a man waiting for us with pale silver hair and deep blue skin. There's something about him that seems instantly familiar to me. I know at once who this man must be. Yeah, that's her dad. Welcome to Talaran. My name is Eldridge Mikadin. I squint at Eldred, picking out the similarities between him and his daughter. There's no denying it, he's Riona's father. I'm glad to see you made it here safely. We were worried that the Chimerae would try to stop you on Orion. They tried their best. Yeah, they certainly tried their best. But we managed to break away and get here in one piece. Eldred nods in understanding, his calm exterior showing no hint of any underlying emotion. So, what's this all about? Why do some of us here? Though he stands perfectly still, Eldred's eyes dart between the crew, stopping only when they land on Riona. It would be easier to show you. I remember playing this for the first time, and I knew it. I knew this in my soul going into this. And yeah, just like the building anticipation. Footsteps echo from behind Eldred, and a figure appears at his side, one I can hardly believe I'm seeing. Because why would we get a sprite of her if we were never going to see her again? I step forward, my eyes wide and my hands trembling at my side. This can't be real. I'm asleep. I must be. I'm back on the ship in my bed in this dream. Because nothing else can explain what I'm seeing. Not when she's supposed to be. Hi, sis! Hi, Narissa! Oh my god. So yeah, this is why I'm like, damn, Aya's gonna be... I mean, that's probably gonna be a lot for Aya, right? Because, like, her brother died. And he's gone forever, and, you know, the Traveler's, like, the main character's sister is supposed to be dead. You're supposed to be dead, but she's not, you know? So, like, I don't know, maybe that's, like, a point of tension between the main character and Aya in the next chapter. I don't know. Hello, little one. I've been waiting for you. Narissa. Oh. CG is so good. It only takes a moment before I'm in her arms, breathing in the familiar floral scent of her perfume and staining her jacket with my tears. How? I try to speak, but the words roll a jumble in my head, a barrage of questions fighting to break through. How long have you been here? Since the coup. We escaped and have been here ever since. It's alright, Solaris. Just breathe. I'm here. We have time. She pulls back from me, holding me at arm's length as she looks me over and smiles. You look incredible. So strong. I like little gloves. I see now I didn't have to worry about you. I sniffle a little and smile back at her, still struggling against my complete loss for words. Rissa, I thought you were dead. I almost was. Uh-oh. Her voice turns cold and suddenly she's not looking at me at all. Yes, he did it, but he was mind controlled. He was mind controlled. Don't hurt him. Vex steps. I was so scared. The first time I played this, I literally was like, if they try to hurt him. Vex steps forward, his emerald eyes wide and face pale, staring at the vision of my sister, who I half expect he still considers to be a ghost. I give him space as he drops to his knees at her feet, his head bowed and his hair splattering the toes of her boots. I thought I killed you. I thought you betrayed us. I did. You tried to kill me. Yes. Stand up, Sarah. She commands him, and her voice is so full of authority no one would dare defy her. With a hand on his knee, he pushes himself to his feet, staring her down with a look so broken it almost cleaves my heart in two. I told you I could have helped you. You should have let me. I wish I did. Believe me. I thought I could fix my stupid mistake on my own, and look where it got me. She looks torn between wanting to hug him or crack his skull in half. Finally, her hands drop to her side, and she lets out a heavy sigh. It wasn't you. It wasn't your fault. Vex stares at her, as though he could hardly believe the words she's speaking to him. How can you forgive me? The same way I have to forgive myself. I've made mistakes. I was hasty. I put my trust in the wrong people, and my family suffered the consequences. You weren't the only one Zovek planted in our home. She shakes her head in disappointment. At herself or at something else entirely, I'm not so sure. Yo, what if it was Kai? What was her little bot friends? Oh my god. I get to theorize. Yo, oh my god. Wait, I never thought about that before. Because who else was she close with? Okay. It's lucky my alliance with Talaran stood so strong, or I wouldn't be standing in front of you today. I have Tanjin to thank for that. The Stellar Queen? It was one of the other moms. It could be possibly your mom if you're playing as a Talari traveler. She nods, but I'm not quite sure what she means by that. How did you survive that night? The whole world believes you died on Goldus. Okay. No, there we go. That's what it is. I think I forgot that he's back here. My friend Kyle. He wasn't there when the massacre began, but he was the one who got me out. The world believes I died because that's the lies Zovek's been weaving. I was wounded on the brink of death. Kay brought me here and the Talari saved me. The VTB? I should have known. Where is Kay? Is he here? Narissa smiles fondly and gives a short nod of her head. Then who's a traitor? Who's a traitor then? Okay. Maybe probably one of our goddamn siblings. Some of them are bastards. He's training some of the soldiers down on the ground. He'll be back soon. He's been waiting for you too. You knew I'd be here? After Eldred contacted Alyssa and Zane, they told us what happened on Cursa. By the time we found out, you were already on Orion. We did everything we could to ensure you make it back here. I knew you were out there somewhere. I could feel it. Hang on, you mentioned soldiers. What soldiers? We have much to talk about. Eldred clears his throat softly before he steps forward. I almost forgot he was still here. I'll leave you in Nurse's hands, but we'll talk again soon. There are also many things we must discuss. I don't miss the ways. You're not even going to talk to her? I don't miss the ways his eyes linger on Riona before he turns and leads the rest of the group of Talari away. I'm a little surprised he hasn't said a word to her, but if it's anything like his daughter, I would expect he's not a fan of airing his problems in front of everyone. Come with me. I'll show you what we've been working on. I walk beside Narissa as she leads the group, still reeling from the fact that she's here, she's alive. I feel her eyes on me, and when I look at her, she smiles, the sight of it lighting up the entire world. There are a million things I want to ask her, a million questions that are rolling around my mind. My heart has barely stopped banging like a drum from the moment I heard her voice again. We follow Narissa as she leads us into an elevator made of glass and reaches out to press a button. A number flashes above the door, illuminated by white light. 174. We're on the 174th floor? The elevator descends rapidly, my eyes glued to the numbers as they get lower and lower. 133, 96, 58, 34. We start to slow, and I feel my stomach lurch, struggling to catch up with the rest of my body as we come to a stop on the first floor as the doors open. It's a long-ass elevator ride. This better be fast. I follow behind Narissa as she exits the elevator onto the metal platform, looking at all in the sheer size of the space we walked into. This used to be an aircraft hangar. As you see, we've repurposed it for other needs. As she speaks, I step up to the railing, scanning the space in front of it. The first thing that catches my eye are the tents. Some of them are enormous, capable of housing hundreds of people. Others are small, with workbenches and crates scattered near the entrances. But then there are the people. Hundreds of them, coming and going between the tents and stations, chatting in groups, keeping busy at various workstations. This is amazing. All this time you've been stashed away here, working like a busy little bee, huh? That's right. Pretty impressive, Queenie. No wonder Alyssa left Curse over this. You're waging war on Zovak. We asked her here. Alyssa and Zane have been valuable to us. Oppo, too. Oppo, they're here, right? Can we see them? Of course. They're out there somewhere. You're welcome to go and find them. I watch as Io races over to a set of metal stairs, the rest of the crew hot on her heels, as we descend to the ground floor of the hangar. Commander Lynch? Nerissa stops for Calderon before he can follow after them. He turns towards her with a sheepish look. It's Captain now. I was exiled. In case you weren't aware, Your Majesty. Please, call me Nerissa. I'm not a queen here. I'm not even a princess. I just want to thank you, Captain, for taking care of my sibling. Oh. I lean against the railing and watch the two of them from the corner of my eye, trying to look as though I'm not eavesdropping. I can't claim I did a good job of it. Nerissa smiles at him kindly, gesturing in my direction. You got them here in one piece, didn't you? He had a hell of a time of it. Calderon opens his mouth, but says nothing before closing again. I think it might be the first time I've seen the man speechless. He carries on ahead of us, heading towards the stairs and descending to the ground floor before we can follow, where I finally get the chance to see the actions up close. Cute. Oh. I spot Bash and June at one of the weapon stalls immediately, inspecting a table of guns that the proprietor seems all too happy to show off to them. June, check this one out. I'm looking. I and Damon have joined in on the conversation with a group of soldiers, casually chatting with them about the places they've arrived here from. I skipped Orion before they closed the borders. No one's getting on or off the planet, not legally anyway. Got here a week ago for Cursa. As soon as I heard they were fighting Zovak, I was on the next ship heading this way. I hang back with Nerissa, a little afraid that if I leave her now, it'll all turn out to be some kind of mirage and I'll never see her again. Hildair, Vex, and Riona are also hanging back, but for different reasons. Vex seems stunned, as though he can hardly believe what he's seeing, and Cal looks impressed. In fact, I think it's the first time I've ever seen him look like that. But my attention is drawn to Riona. She's stepped behind the other two, almost hidden from sight behind Calderon's large frame. I can't quite get a grasp on her expression, but the one thing I can see is that she seems overwhelmed by the whole situation. I hope I'll get a chance to speak with her, to find out if she's doing okay, but right now there's another question in the forefront of my mind. I turn back to Nerissa, finding her smiling as she looks out over the camp, still very much a queen in every other way that counts. Nerissa, who are all these people? There are people, the ones who won't stand for Jez Zovak and his reign of terror, the ones that will fight with us. I look at my sister, and I know she senses my confusion by the way she lays a hand on my shoulder, her smile as bright as I've ever seen it. We're going to take back our home, Solaris, together. And that's where we're left off. We will leave off for today, because that's the end of the chapter. But thank you for joining me. I will see if I can figure out how to get the 6.2 patch working correctly. And I think what I'll do is when they release episode 7, I'll just go back and play, and then we can start and do. There should probably be 2 missing scenes. Is the scene we should have with Damon talking about like Solaris' hobbies and stuff, and like how they're feeling, and doing like a checkup thing is what you get similar to the romance routes. And then the scene that starts Bash's arc and stuff. So I don't want to miss that. Sorry it wasn't all set up right. I thought I was doing it right, but I guess I have just cluttered it up with all the other different things. I'll get that sorted out for by the time they release episode 7. But thank you very much for joining me. I had a lot of fun playing through. I can't believe she's alive. Even though I called it, because the developers had a Pinterest page with a bunch of like for Nerissa, they had a bunch of like cool sci-fi girls in like armor and stuff, and I'm like, why would they have that as references if we weren't going to see her again? Or why would we need her sprite if we weren't going to see her? And see her in a different light. So this is a fun little thing. fun little moment. But yes, thank you so much for joining me and my rambling. But yes, I do love this game. Go check it out on itch.io, Andromeda 6. And we will end it off there. But have a wonderful day, and bye!